The summer I turned 22, a few close friends and I decided to go camping at a large lake tucked deep in a pine forest in Northern California. It was quiet, untouched by people, just rippling water, bird song, and the wind weaving through towering trees. That afternoon, the sun was soft, and the lake surface was still as glass. After setting up camp and having lunch, we dared each other to swim out to a big rock in the middle of the lake, a kind of playful challenge we often made up for fun. I wasn't a strong swimmer, but I didn't want to be called a coward either. So I stepped into the water, ice cold, and began swimming toward the rock. At first, everything was fine. The water was crystal clear, the breeze was gentle, and I could hear my friends laughing from the rock in the distance. But when I was just a few dozen meters away, I suddenly felt a sharp cramp seize my right calf, a muscle spasm. It hurt badly. Panic kicked in. Every time I tried to kick my legs, my body sank deeper. Water flooded my mouth, my throat burned, and my lungs felt like they were about to burst. I managed to surface once, my head above water, and looked around. I saw my friends on the rock, but I couldn't scream. My mouth was full of water. I waved my arms and they waved back, probably thinking I was joking. I sank again, and this time, I couldn't come back up. My body stopped fighting. Every sound faded. Then something strange happened. I left myself. I saw my body sinking, limbs limp in the deep green water. I saw the sunlight refracting on the lake's surface, scattering into 1,000 shimmering fragments. But I wasn't afraid anymore. I was floating above it all, light as a cloud, and I felt a peace I had never known before. Then I felt a presence, a light. Not blinding, but gentle, like sunset spilling softly over water. It didn't speak with words, but I understood everything. I wasn't alone. I was loved, and I was in a place of complete safety. It felt like I was being held, not by hands, but by the presence of something deeply sacred. I didn't know if it was God, an angel, or a part of my own soul that lived far beyond my understanding. But I knew this. Love was here. Then I saw memories, my childhood, the blue walls of our old house, my mother's laughter in the kitchen, the face of my grandfather long gone, the one I never got to say goodbye to. They appeared, not quickly, not slowly, as if time itself had paused so I could remember. I felt every emotion, not just my own, but the feelings of everyone I had ever touched in my life. And I understood every word, every action, every love, all remembered somewhere. I wanted to stay. I truly wanted to stay there forever. But then the light whispered, not aloud, but deep inside me, "Not yet, my love. You have to go back." And I cried, not with tears, but with my whole soul. In a flash, like a surge of electricity through my body, I was pulled back. I choked and coughed up water. I opened my eyes. I was on the shore. My friends were crying, hitting my back, trying to help me breathe. Since that day, I've never been afraid of death, because I know, beyond the darkness, there is always light, and the love of God, or whatever sacred thing you believe in, will never leave you. Today, I want to share with you a topic that is both mysterious and beautiful, something that all of us will experience. Sooner or later, it is death. They call it a near-death experience. Those moments when the soul leaves the body, crosses the boundary between life and death, and then returns. And the incredible thing is, Most of those who return don't come back with fear. They come back with a sense of peace and a deep belief that something beautiful, something warm and comforting is waiting for us. Common traits of near-death experiences: leaving the body. Many describe the moment their soul floated out of their body, watching themselves from above, from the ceiling, or from a distant corner. No pain, just a gentle separation, a feeling of peace. Even in the middle of a life-threatening crisis, people report a profound sense of calm, as if every burden, every worry had vanished. Passing through a tunnel, a familiar image appears, a long, dark tunnel. But it's not frightening. At the end of it, there's always a gentle light waiting. The light of love. Many say they encountered a powerful light, not blinding, but full of warmth. They felt completely enveloped in love. Unconditional, non-judgmental love. Some believe that light is the presence of God. Meeting loved ones who've passed, can you believe it? Some say they met their parents, grandparents, or others who had passed away, all healthy, glowing, and smiling in welcome. A life review. Some even describe watching their entire life unfold like a movie, not just their actions, but the feelings of those they had affected. And in that moment, they understood the true meaning of love, an invitation to return. Even though they wanted to stay in that peaceful place, they often heard a voice, soft but firm: "Your time is not done. You must go back." And now I'll continue by sharing with you real stories, true accounts of people who have touched the edge of life and come back. So go ahead and hit that follow button and find the most comfortable position as we gently step into the world beyond. The story of Dr. Eben Alexander. I saw the realm of light. As a neurosurgeon, I was certain that consciousness was purely a product of the brain, until my own brain stopped working. On a morning in November 2008, Dr. Eben Alexander, then 54 years old, woke up with a sudden severe headache. Just a few hours later, he collapsed in the bathroom. His family rushed him to the emergency room. The diagnosis was shocking: bacterial meningitis caused by E. coli, an extremely rare condition and almost always fatal in adults. Within hours, his brain completely shut down. He fell into a deep coma. Scans showed that his neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for thought, emotion, and awareness, was entirely inactive. With over 25 years of experience in the field, his medical colleagues unanimously agreed: there is no way any form of consciousness could occur in that state. And yet, during these 7 days in a coma, Eben had an experience that went far beyond everything he once believed as a scientist. He found himself in a strange realm, dark, dense, without time, direction, or identity. He called it the realm of the earthworm's eye, a cold, formless place where he no longer felt human, just a speck of awareness, isolated and meaningless. But then, a light appeared. It tore through the darkness like a rip in the fabric of night, pulling him into an entirely new world. He was floating beneath a vivid blue sky, above fields of radiant flowers. Massive butterflies soared overhead, and music echoed everywhere, not from any source, but as if the entire universe was singing. Beside him was a being of light, formless, but radiating deep emotions through pure intuition, not words. The message was unmistakable, though no voice was heard. You are loved. You have always been loved. There is nothing to fear. He felt himself merging with the light, embraced by a warmth and unconditional love beyond anything he had ever experienced on Earth. There was no ego, no fear, only pure existence. Eben said that in that realm, he didn't think in words. He knew things, through unity with knowledge itself. He understood that life doesn't end with death. It's part of a much greater journey. And that light, that love, is the source of all things. When he awoke on the seventh day, completely defying all medical expectations, he not only survived, but gradually regained full memory, cognition, and mental clarity. But one thing had changed forever. The man who once believed consciousness came solely from the brain now knew without a doubt that the soul exists independently and that God, or the sacred love he encountered, is real. Since then, Eben Alexander has become an international speaker, sharing his near-death experience with the world. He authored the best-selling book, Proof of Heaven, which has touched millions and transformed the way people view life and death. Story: The Blind Man Who Saw for the First Time While Dying. I had never seen light. I didn't know what my mother's face looked like. I lived in darkness from the moment I was born until the day I died. His name was Vicky, an American man born completely blind due to a rare retinal condition. Throughout his childhood and adult life, he had never known what color was. He had never seen the faces of his loved ones. He had no idea what the sky looked like. Vicky lived independently, worked in a community for people with disabilities, and was known as a practical, grounded person, not someone who believed in the supernatural. One night he was in a serious car accident and rushed to the emergency room in critical condition. Multiple traumas, no pulse, completely unconscious. Doctors fought to revive him for nearly 10 minutes. And during that time, for the first time in his life, Vicky saw everything. I don't know how to explain it. I just remember suddenly being above, looking down at my body on the operating table. I saw the doctors, the nurses, the bright lights in the ER, and I realized I was seeing. I could actually see. What he described next was astonishing. He accurately detailed the hair color, height, and physical appearance of the nurses. He remembered the position of the machines, the sound of the beeping monitors, the overhead fluorescent lights. He even described a wedding ring worn by one of the doctors, a detail no one expected him to know. But the most incredible part wasn't just seeing, it was the feeling: lightness, freedom, and overwhelming love. I wasn't seeing with eyes. It felt like I was sensing everything with my soul. I understood things without anyone needing to speak. And in the distance, I saw a brilliant light calling me. There I knew. There was no more pain, no more limits, only welcome. Then he began to see faces, his family, his friends, and childhood memories he had only heard about, but now could see for himself, like a movie replaying the story of his life. And then he heard a voice. He didn't know whose it was, but it was full of love. "It's not time yet, my child. Go back. There's still something you need to do." Moments later, Vicky woke up, still blind, but his heart and mind were no longer the same. He shared his experience with doctors and researchers. They verified every detail he described and confirmed its accuracy. Since that day, Vicky no longer feared death. He lives with gratitude because once, for a brief moment, eyes that had never seen light saw the world. And more importantly, he believes we are more than just our bodies. Death is not the end, he says. For me, it was the first time. I truly saw. Story: the girl who met the souls waiting for her. I thought I had died, but instead of fear, it felt like I had just come home. Her name was Julie, an elementary school teacher living in Oregon, a young, healthy woman who loved children and lived a normal, happy life. Until one rainy evening, a serious car accident changed everything. Julie fell into a deep coma. Her heart stopped for several minutes. Doctors worked urgently to bring her back, and during that time, Julie went somewhere else. I remember driving. The rain was light. Then, a flash of headlights from the left, the screech of brakes, and then, silence. I woke up, but I wasn't in the car anymore. No wounds, no blood. I was standing in a wide open field covered in flowers. Soft golden light was everywhere. There was no sun, but everything glowed. It was quiet, perfectly quiet, but not scary at all. Julie began to walk, feeling weightless, as if floating. Her steps made no sound. There was no gravity. She didn't feel like she was dreaming. She was more awake and aware than she had ever been. And then, in the distance, she saw them, people waiting. At first I didn't recognize them, but as I got closer, I began to cry. It was my grandmother, the one who passed when I was 12. It was a classmate from middle school who died from a heart condition, and even my childhood dog, running circles around me, wagging its tail like it had never left. No one spoke, but Julie felt a deep connection. Without words, she understood what they were saying. We're still here. We've been watching over you. Behind them was a space filled with brilliant light, a gate made of pure light, wide open. Julie felt drawn toward it, a gentle, loving pull, a silent invitation. But as she moved closer, a voice echoed, not from anyone in particular, but from everywhere around her. It's not time. You still have something to finish. Julie looked back one last time. Her grandmother smiled. Her friend waved. Her little dog gave a soft whimper, then turned and ran off into the field. And then everything began to fade, like smoke. Julie felt her body become heavy again. The sound of machines, hospital lights, muffled voices. She's waking up. Julie survived the accident. A miracle, the doctor said. But Julie knew it was more than that. It was a reminder that we are never truly alone, that the souls who love us are still there, waiting, watching, and smiling from the other side of the light. Since that day, I live with gratitude, because I know when my time comes, I won't be afraid. I know they'll be waiting for me. Do you still fear death after hearing stories like these? I don't, because I believe. I believe in God. I believe that light is real. And I believe we are never truly alone. No matter where you are, no matter how empty or lost you may feel, there are souls who love you, watching over you in silence, waiting for you on the other side of the light, a place with no fear, only gentle love and warm, welcoming smiles. Now, if you're ready, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let me guide you to a place where that light is waiting for you.